Hi everyone, this is Sean. Welcome back to my channel. Please do me a huge favor, press the like button, subscribe, share, comment. I'm looking forward to all of the dialogue and I'm looking forward to all of the comments. Thank you everyone for your support over the years. Thank you for your support over the last couple of months. I really appreciate you guys. I just want to make a public announcement. Yesterday, I did a YouTube live video about Senate Bill 274. This is basically your new law that basically says that school districts cannot suspend students for being willfully disobedient. So basically, if they're wearing gang attire, if they're wearing a hat that has certain colors, a certain color pattern that a local gang wears, the administrator can tell them to take it off, but if they refuse to take it off, there's no repercussions. You cannot discipline these students by suspending them. You have to work with them. You have to get them to get counseling. They wear a shirt that basically aligns themselves with a criminal street gang. Again, you could tell them not to wear it, but they don't have to listen to you because you don't have any more authority anymore as a school district official because you cannot suspend somebody for being willfully disobedient. I think the reason why I got smacked by YouTube is number one, I think I use the word hoodlums to describe these delinquents that are out there. Some people think that's a racist term. I don't think that's a racist. That is no racist term. It's just a term that I use to describe these pieces of work out there that are creating havoc. I believe it was also smacked by YouTube because the words explosives, and then I mentioned that children can bring explosives and firearms to school if they have a written letter by the principal. So just for those of you who don't believe what I said in regards to kids being allowed to bring bombs and explosives to school, I'll read you the section verbatim and I will show you on camera this exact section. I'm not making this stuff up. I'm just very concerned about the lawmakers that write these bills. Are they even reading what they get signed? So I will direct you, and any information, you could check out the description box below. It'll be very helpful to you. California Educational Code 48900, that's 48900, and this will be subsection B, little b in parentheses. Basically, it says this: a pupil should not be suspended from school or recommended for expulsion unless the superintendent of the school district or the principal of the school in which the pupil is enrolled determines that the pupil has committed an act as defined pursuant to any of the following, subsections A through R inclusive. So there's a whole list of sections, right? And it's basically your violent crimes. But then when we get to subsection B, it says this: possessed, sold, or otherwise furnished a firearm, knife, explosive, or other dangerous object, unless, in the case of possession of any object of this type, the pupil had obtained written permission to possess the item from a certificated school employee, which is concurred in by the principal or the designee of the principal. What a certificated school employee is basically your teacher. If the teacher wants the student to bring a firearm or a bomb to campus, as long as the principal says yes, principal concurs, or if the principal is on vacation and designates a vice principal to be the principal, if that person says yes, then that student can bring that to campus. Does this make any, answer my question, you guys, does this make any sense to you? Because to me, this makes absolutely no sense. Why would you even write this in the bill? And why are students bringing explosives? I mean, they would only, I can't even rationalize this because this makes no sense at all. Firearm, why are you bringing firearms to campus? That doesn't make any sense. Now, some of you have mentioned you have to be age 21 to have a firearm, handgun, and also any other firearm in California. We know that. So basically what would happen is you would be in violation of that criminal code section that prevents anyone under the age of 21 of having a firearm. You would not be in violation of 48900 subsection B. Also, it is still a crime to bring a firearm on school grounds. There's the School Safety Zone Act. However, subsection B contradicts that, because according to subsection B, you could bring a dynamite. I mean, you can bring. Your imagination is open to interpretation on what an explosive is. Knife, you could bring a knife or any dangerous object as long as you have written permission from a certificated employee. Where are we going with this? It doesn't make sense. Please, guys, see for yourself. I mean, I'm showing you for yourself, but look it up. This is real. Also, the legislator has taken away law enforcement's ability to use chemical agents to disperse crowds. Some of these schools, not in my area, but in your area, you have race riots. And the most peaceful way of dispersing some of these riots, well, number one is if you're the law enforcement, don't show up at all. But number two is you introduce chemical agents that cause minor irritation of the respiratory system. You introduce CS gas. Some of you are saying, oh, it's students, they're kids. Oh, you have not seen a school riot yet. These kids are out of control, you guys. They're out of control. I mean, what do you want to do? You want to send in a police officer that's going to physically try to arrest these students? And then all of a sudden you get 20 students ganging up on this officer. And we know what this leads to. We know when 20 or even two juveniles gang up on one officer, okay, who's running out of options, we know what happens. That's what the legislator is pressing for. I am a California Post chemical agent instructor. They've ingrained the living heck out of us into us when we can use chemical agents. So basically, we can use it if we're able to direct it at the aggressor of the situation. Somebody's a shot caller. They're directing the crowd to start destroying property or start burning down houses. The chemical agents and the kinesthetic munitions can be directed at the individual, but you can't just carte blanche just throw CS gas into the group to disperse them. You cannot do that anymore. They made this illegal for California police officers about 1.5, maybe 2 years ago. And then now there's the new Military Exemption Act, Military Weapon Ban Act. Basically, law enforcement has to ask for permission from their city council or their board of directors to have in their possession your less lethal launcher. So your 40 millimeter less lethal launchers or 37 millimeter less lethal launchers, you need permission. And we also need permission to launch the 12 gauge less lethal stabilizer round that Safariland makes. This doesn't make any sense. We need that permission. Now, if the council, if they're running late, if they're not in session and you miss the deadline, the law enforcement agency has to disarm their officers of those options. And those are less lethal options. It's getting out of control in California. Some of you are saying, Sean, it's time to leave. I can't leave. I have 7 more years in the California public employee retirement system. And I have 7 more years until I get about almost lifetime medical. Well, 15 years of medical insurance paid, about 90% of that. If I stay where I'm at, 7 more years. Insurance is usually, for PPO insurance that I have, it's usually like $2,000, $2,300 a month. So I'm not going to go anywhere. I am vested in the California employee retirement system. So I'll complain about it. I'll talk about it. Those of you who are in private security, you might be wondering, Sean, why are you making this video? Because this affects you. If law enforcement options are limited, your options are limited. Also, you're going to have a lot of students on campus who shouldn't be on campus. They're stuck there. And the school administrators will be asking you for help. They're going to say, hey, I need you to move this person out of the classroom, or hey, deal with this person, because they can't deal with that person. And they call law enforcement. Law enforcement might say, I'm not going to respond, unless it's the school police department. School police department is a little bit different. The their managers and their bosses, which they don't like to admit, is the principal, school administrators. Sometimes the teachers, they act like they're the bosses for the school police officers. But when there is no school police department and the local police department or sheriff's department says, no, we will not respond, well, they depend on private security, school security to deal with these situations, and your hands are tied. Your hands are just as tight as law enforcement. So you get to deal with them. If they're combative, you deal with them. Senate Bill 274 is a bill that was pushed forward by Democrats. And our Democrat governor, Gavin Newsom, signed this bill. And he also signed the other bill that says law enforcement cannot use chemical agents, kinesthetic munitions to disperse crowds. That's all I got, guys. Looking forward to the dialogue and the comments. Take care.